Good morning, guest and fellow Toastmaster. A warm welcome to meeting number 39 of the Gabbys Online Toastmaster Club. I am Toastmaster Amit, your sergeant at arms for today. I am sure you are as excited as I am. The meeting will be blocked for 2 hours and you are expected to stay for the entire duration. Before we start the meeting, I want to highlight some key points. Your video should be on and audio should be off. Audio should be on only when you are called to speak or need to speak. Regarding the topic of sex, religion, and politics, even though Toastmaster International does not put any restriction on speaking on these topics, at the Gabby Toastmaster Club, we request all speakers and role takers to be mindful and responsible and abstain from expressing any controversial views on these sensitive topics. Also, urge you to be the cognizant of the fact that we as a club practice diversity and inclusion in letter and spirit. Hence, ensuring there is no sexist, racist, or any such undertones that create hostility and discomfort for members or guests. Let's call the presiding officer for today's meeting, DTM Sourav Dutta. DTM Sourav Dutta is a winner of 2 DTM awards and has completed 9 paths in Toastmaster pathways. He has been a president's distinguished division director, a distinguished area director in the past. Outside Toastmaster, Sourav has played several leadership roles in Fortune 500 companies, startups, and non-profits. Currently, Sourav is building his own edtech startup, Practive, which he founded in June 2020. Over to you, Sourav.
Thank you so much. I hereby declare, let me get started with the formal process first. So I declare this meeting number 39 of the Gabbys Online Toastmasters Club to order. We hereby start the meeting today. Before I get started, let me quickly acknowledge our Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Amit Gupta, for doing his role, for playing his role wonderfully. Amit, thank you so much for starting the meeting on time and also ensuring that all the role takers are there and they know what they need to know for doing their roles well. Thank you so much. Moving on. Can we have a few of our guests share their thoughts about the meeting? I see some familiar names like one of my Dronacharyas in Toastmaster Suresh Madhavan. Welcome back, Toastmaster Suresh. It's always a pleasure to have you at the meeting. Thank you for joining us. Would you want to share something, sir? Okay, I think Suresh may be in a place where he's not able to speak. I see Hani Vardianza. Hani, would you want to share quickly about yourself? Are you a Toastmaster guest? From which part of the world are you coming from?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sourav. Yes, my name is Hani. I'm from SGBD Toastmasters Club, and my first time I joined in this Gabbys Toastmasters, and I think I will late. So, how is the session? I mean, is table topic session or prepare speakers? Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining, Hani. I also see a guest, Lakshma Ratnaike. Lakshma, can you quickly introduce yourself? Which part of the world you're from?
Sure. I'm Lakshmi Ratnayaka. I'm from Sri Lanka. This is my second time you joined to Gabbys. And so I get the message that there will be a debate. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Even I am looking forward to it. And I don't know if you already know, but Sri Lanka and the Gabbys has got a very strong connection. Very soon, I'm hoping that we will be the flag bearers of the external relationships that India has with Sri Lanka. So many Sri Lankans are joining our meeting every week, 3 times a week. And we have got our VP education is from Sri Lanka. Our treasurer is from Sri Lanka. Our general evaluator today is from Sri Lanka. And I think every meeting we have a few speakers and role takers from Sri Lanka. So thank you so much, all the people from our wonderful neighboring country for joining us and supporting us at the Gabbys. Um, I would not take more introductions because today we have got a packed agenda, but feel free to drop your introduction in the chat. We will be opening the chat so that you are able to, share your feedback with us. But please do exercise caution when you're using the chat functionality. Please practice the Toastmaster values when you are using chat. So don't say anything which is going to affect, kind of the sentiments of others in a negative way. With this, we are going to move on with the meeting. And for the benefit of the guests, I know Lakshma, I don't know if she's a Toastmaster. Lakshma, are you a Toastmaster? Any non-Toastmasters here? Okay, so then I'll not go into the details of the history of Toastmasters. I will straight away move into a quick introduction of the theme, and then we'll jump into the meeting. So the theme for today is empathy. And I think that's something that we practice at Toastmasters every day. This is one place where people come and people do what they want to do without any fear. They try new things for the very simple reason that they know that even if they fail, there is nothing to worry about. There is nothing that they need to think twice. There are people who have come to the Gabbys, they have come to Toastmasters, who have come with a stuttering, stammering kind of speeches, and then they have gone on to become fantastic speakers. And that has been possible because the rest of the members of the fraternity display empathy. So we'll hear more about empathy as a theme from our Toastmaster of the day for today. Our Toastmaster of the day for today is a 24-year-old 24-year-old member of the Gabbys who's diving headfirst into the fascinating world of psychology. She's all about connecting with folks, and it's like fuel for her soul, and that's what brings her to the Gabbys. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Priyamvada Sharma, for taking up the role of the Toastmaster of the day. Please welcome with a big round of applause our TMOD for today, Toastmaster Priyamvada Sharma. Over to you, Priyamvada.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Sourav, for such a wonderful introduction. Am I clearly audible to all of you? Okay. So, today's theme is empathy. Now, we all have heard these words: sympathy, compassion, kindness, and empathy. But what do they really mean? And are empathy and sympathy the same? Can anyone explain to me what empathy actually means for them? Please give a raise of hands.
Yes. Yeah. Priyamvada, I'm Sunil Gupta. Empathy means you have to put yourself at the position where the person who is in a sad position, in sad condition, and you have to understand what he thinks and what he requires at that point, at that time. So you have to arrange the things or the requirement he wants, or he can get out from his condition, that sad condition. I think that is empathy.
Okay. Toastmaster Jaspreet was raising her hand.
Yeah. So sympathy is when I feel sad for somebody, I feel disturbed. There's a beggar. I feel bad. I give something to him. That's sympathy. Empathy is when I step into the shoes of the sufferer. For example, I go watch a movie, somebody over there is suffering and I'm weeping along with that person, get carried away. That is empathy. When that line gets dissolved and you are trying to feel the sadness or the problem that the other one is feeling.
So, as Toastmaster Jaspreet and Toastmaster Sunil said, empathy is trying to fit in the shoes of the other person, knowing how they are feeling. Usually, we think that empathy you have to show when someone is suffering, but we also show empathy when someone is joyful, when someone is feeling happy. Like, suppose your friend is having a birthday party and they're happy, and suddenly you feel that surge of happiness inside of yourself and you share that happiness, right? In an excellent article about empathy, Psychology Today states, empathy, it is the bedrock of intimacy and close connection. In its absence, relationships remain emotionally shallow, defined largely by mutual interest or shared activities. Such a true statement. What if we just thought of our own gain? What if we only thought about loss and gain, right? So empathy and sympathy keeps us connected. Without empathy, we could live and work side by side with other people and remain as clueless about their inner selves and feelings as we are about those of strangers on a crowded subway car. Empathy isn't just the engine for closeness and pro social behavior, it also puts on the brakes when we are misbehaving and become aware of the pain we are causing. Now, it's imagine a world where there was no connectedness and no empathy. We wouldn't even understand how we should behave with other people, right? So, can anyone give an example where they showed empathy or where someone else showed empathy with them? And how did that make them feel? How it helped them?
Hello, Toastmaster Priyamvada. This is Lakshmi here.
Hello,
If
Toastmaster
I,
Lakshmi.
hello. Yeah, so if I may just add 2 points here. So this is nothing that very unusual, but things that usually happens at home. For example, with my children. Now, there are times when they say that, I don't want to do my homework and they make a fuss out of it. There are times when I get really angry and I shout at, but that only worsens the situation. However, when I sit down with them saying, oh, you don't want to do the homework, or is it too much of work for you, or do you want to play instead? So it's like I'm trying to get onto their shoes and understand why they don't want to do the homework. So when I do that, the response is totally different. And very interestingly, at the end of that conversation, they're willing to go do their homework by themselves. So that's one example that I have.
That was an awesome example, Toastmaster Lakshmi. Thank you so much. So, with that example, we can see that how empathy changes the dynamics of how people feel, how they work, and how we can empower them. Now, before getting deep into empathy, let me explain to you what a Toastmasters meeting looks like. In a regular Toastmaster meeting, we have 3 sections. Prepared speeches section, where the prepared speaker will give speeches according to their path and level. The second section is usually a table topic section, but today we are going to have something huge and different, which is a debate section led by our debate chair. And third, we'll be having an evaluation section. Now, to explain the evaluation section, I would like to call upon our general evaluator, Toastmaster Sadil. Toastmaster Sadil is the Sergeant at Arms at Negombo Toastmasters Club. Currently, he works as a part-time physics teacher and is waiting for his higher studies until next month. Over to you, Toastmaster Sadil.
Thank you, Toastmaster, today. So for this meeting, I'm the general evaluator. So as a general evaluator, my job is to check the quality of this meeting. That means whether this meeting is running according to the standards given by Toastmasters International. So I will give my report at the latter part of this meeting, but to help me, I'm not alone. I have a team called TAGL team. TAGL. T stands for time, A stands for the R counter, G stands for Grammarian, and L stands for the listener. So in Toastmasters, we should improve our punctuality. To improve our punctuality, we have a special role called the timer in Toastmasters International. The timer role for today is played by Toastmaster Sudharma Perera. Sudharma lives in Vennappur, Sri Lanka, as a fellow chartered accountant. She has an MBA from University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, Sri Lanka, and she's interested in learning new things and getting to know new people and traveling to new places. Toastmaster Sudharma is the Vice President Education of the Gabbys Online Toastmasters Club. So Toastmaster Sudharma, over to you to give a brief introduction of your role.
Thank you, General Evaluator. As timer, today I time prepared speeches, evaluations, and when debate session starts, the debate session also. For prepared speeches, we have today 3 speeches. Icebreaker speech 4 to 6 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, and 2 to 3 minutes. For icebreaker speech, at 4 minutes, I will show green card. At 5 minutes, I show yellow card. At 6 minutes, I will show red card. 30 seconds grace period will be provided upper end and lower end. For 5 to 7 minutes speech, I will show green card at 5 minutes, yellow card at 6 minutes, and red card at 7 minutes. For 2 to 3 minute speech and 2 to 3 minutes evaluation, I will show like this. At 2 minutes, I will show green card, 2 minutes and 30 seconds yellow card, at 3 minutes red card. For evaluation also, we are providing 30 seconds grace period, upper end and lower end. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sudharma, for that comprehensive introduction of the role. And next up, we have the R counter. So in Toastmasters International, we have a special person to track our mistakes, to identify our mistakes and correct them. So the R counter's role for today is played by Toastmaster Amit Gupta. So Toastmaster Amit works as a data scientist in a retail company. He keeps himself busy with sports, physical activities, and exploring new things in life. His life mantra is let's help each other and grow together. So Toastmaster Amit, over to you to give a brief introduction of your role.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Sadil. So the purpose of the R counter is to listen and make a note of unnecessary words and sounds used by all speakers and role players of today's meeting. My report would focus on 5 major areas. First one, filler words such as and Second point, inappropriate interjection. For example, and, well, but, so, you know. Third point, the use of crutch words similar to basically, actually, this thing. Fourth point, repetitive words or phrases in the form of I or this means. Fifth point, unintentional long or short pause made by the speaker. So I will present my rest of the report when called upon by the general evaluator during the end of the session. Thank you, and back to you, General.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amit, for that comprehensive introduction. Next up, we have an English teacher in Toastmasters International meetings. So the English teacher role, that means the grammarian role, for today's meeting is played by Toastmaster Raja Balaji. He is a network engineer by profession and Toastmaster by passion. He loves to travel to new places and to connect with new people. An introvert trying to be an ambivert. Just do it. That's his favorite quote. So Toastmaster Raja, over to you to deliver a brief introduction of your role.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dismissed guests. The purpose of the grammarian is to pay close attention to all speakers, and I will take note down their language usage. And I will take note of this, and also I will take note of misusage of English language, and also the outstanding words, quotes, saying, examples, etc. And as a grammarian, it's my duty to introduce word of the day. For today's meeting, the word of the day is tenderness, meaning the quality of being gentle, loving, or kind. Example, she treated her children with great tenderness. I request everyone to choose the word of the day and also unmute your mic. Now use the word of the day, tenderness. Just unmute and say tenderness.
Tenderness.
Thank you so much.
Tenderness.
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 Thank you so much. At the end of the meeting, I will present my report. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raja Balaji, for your introduction, as well as for introducing the word of the day. In Toastmasters, we can improve our speaking skills as well as our evaluating skills. But in Toastmasters, we can improve our listening skills as well. To test our listening skills, there's a special person called the listener. For this meeting, the listener role is played by Toastmaster Atul. And Toastmaster Atul is from Hyderabad, Telangana. He did an MSc in psychology, a bachelor education in special education, and a retired principal from state government of Telangana. I think I have pronounced it correctly. He has a deep passion for training and public speaking, and it's certified TTT from ICBI and member IMPA Hyderabad. So Toastmaster Atul, over to you to give a brief introduction of your role.
Thank you, General Evaluator, and good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. I am the listener of the day. I'll be listening closely to everything said during the meeting and will draft short questions to test our listening skills at the end of the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, listener Toastmaster Atul. So at the latter part of this meeting, that means the evaluation session, I will come back with my TAGL team as well as my panel of evaluators to deliver our evaluations. So next up, I would like to give the control back to our Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster of the day, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sadil. Now, moving on to the first speech of the prepared speeches section, I would like to confirm the evaluator of speaker 1 is present. Toastmaster Jaspreet Kaur.
Yes, I'm there.
She's present. So today our first speaker is distinguished Toastmaster Sourav Dutta. Distinguished Toastmaster Sourav Dutta is a winner of 2 distinguished Toastmasters awards and has completed 10 paths in Toastmaster pathways. He has been a President, Distinguished Division Director, and a Distinguished Area Director in the past. Outside of Toastmaster, Sourav has played several leadership roles in Fortune 500 companies, startups, and non-profits. Currently, he is building his own edutech startup, Practive, which he founded in June 2020. Now, his path for the speech is Persuasive Influence, Level 1, Project Number 1. Project name is Icebreaker Speech. Project objective is, the purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself or herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Speech duration is 4 to 6 minutes. Speech title 110%. 110%. Distinguished Toastmaster Sourav Dutta. Distinguished Toastmaster Sourav Dutta, 110%.
Four years back, September 2020, this journey started. And it all seems like almost yesterday. And I see a lot of familiar faces I met then, faces I met along the way. I see Toastmaster, I see Nancy, I see a lot of people who have been a part of my journey along with me. And when I did my first path, when I was doing my first icebreaker, I talked about a lot of things. And most of the things that I shared, no one was actually interested to know. I talked about which school I went to, what was my favorite food, what was my luck with dating and whatnot. And most of the people were there like, why the hell is he sharing all this nonsense? Because honestly, I did not know what to say. That was my first icebreaker speech at Toastmaster, and I was totally clueless. Today, after completing 10 paths, I am feeling that I've actually come a long way. And I'm not trying to brag here. I'll share with you some of the things about me that many of you don't know, despite the fact that many of you know me very well otherwise. The first thing, I'm an extremely ruthless person when it comes to failures. I'm obsessed with success. And that's how I've been raised. Probably that's how many of us have been raised in India, because we live in a country where competition is fed to us along with milk when we are growing up. And that stays with us. That explains the road rage. That explains the anger that you see all around you, because there's limited resources, or rather, I would say very limited resources and extremely unlimited wants all around us. And because of that, this competition is imbibed in us. And some of us, like me, we have an overdose of it. So we are extremely competitive. When I joined Toastmasters, that is what I came in with, the attitude. That's the attitude I carried with me. I wanted everyone around me to be successful. I wanted to be successful. I got the first hit when I lost the club contests. Not one of them, but all of them. That was my first brush with reality, that success is never guaranteed and failure is not fatal. After that, I had to come to terms with the fact that there are people around me who will not be successful. That was even more difficult, because I have always pushed people to do beyond their limits. I've had a pretty flourishing career in the professional space. I've been a director in some of the largest MNCs of the world, like Target, like JCPenney. And everywhere I practice this to the T. Push, 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 because that's the only way that people can grow. That's the only way people can excel. Toastmasters taught me tenderness. It taught me, in your team, you will find people who are not good. You will find people who want to be good, but they cannot be good. In your team, you will find people who don't want to be good. And your team, you will find people who don't care if they're good or bad. And all of them are a part of your team. You have to work with all of them. Some of them will pull you back. Some of them will pull the entire team back. You don't kick them out of the team. You find a space for them within the team so that they cannot pull the team back, but the team can take them along. I learned this in Toastmasters. The second thing I learned at Toastmasters is that no matter what you think about yourself, about your speaking capabilities, or your learning capabilities, or whatever you are, there is something that you don't know and there's something that you can learn better. For me, it was humor. I always thought that I am a very good speaker. And with all humility, I think I'm a decent speaker. I've been doing public speaking and keynote speeches since 2010. It says that it's not bragging if it's true. So I would say that, yeah, I am a decent speaker. So when I joined Toastmasters, I was like, what the hell am I going to learn here? What will a kid like Dhwani teach me? Come on. How can a kid like Priyamvada evaluate me? What credential does she have in the first place? Amit, what does he know about public speaking? Now, when I came here, I realized that each of us have something to learn from all of us. And that humility came into me with Toastmasters. I understood that even the speaker who probably cannot speak 10 words properly can give you a learning which will be there with you forever. Humor is one of that. A lot of people said a lot of things to me, but this is something that someone had told me at the very early stages of my Toastmasters journey, that Sourav, you are great at giving passionate speeches. You can make people cry. Did you ever try to make people laugh? And I took that as a challenge, and I'm still working on that path. I have done my path in engaging humor, but I'm still working. So 2 key learnings, my friends, humility and tenderness is what I learned in Toastmasters. This is what I'm trying to inculcate as 2 of my foundational strengths so that I become a better human. This journey has empowered me so tremendously that I feel that when people say that you give 100% to Toastmaster, I'm actually giving a little less. because what Toastmaster has given me is 110%. It has given me back that side of me that I never knew that existed. Thank you so much. Back to you, Toastmaster.
First icebreaker or 10th icebreaker, DTM Sourav, your charisma, tenderness, and inspiring personality motivates us to do our best. So let's give a standing ovation to distinguished Toastmaster Sourav since it was his icebreaker speech. Now, moving on to our second speaker, Toastmaster Malavika. Can I confirm if her evaluator is there, Toastmaster Lakshmi?
Yes, Toastmaster Priyamvada, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Toastmaster Malavika has worked in media for over 15 years as a director of photography and editor. She loves creating stories, so currently she's dabbling in writing. She hopes to build confidence through Toastmasters and also improve her writing ability by giving speeches. Her path is persuasive influence, level 2, and project number 1. Project name, understanding your leadership style. Her project objective, the purpose of this project is for the member to identify his or her primary leadership style or styles. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her primary leadership style or discuss leadership style in general. The speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Speech title, The Leadership Conundrum. Toastmaster Malavika, the leadership conundrum.
A pace setter. That's what it said. I was really excited for this project. I was finally going to figure out what type of leader I was. And so excitedly, I wrote my answers to the questions as honestly as I could. And when I pressed submit, the answer I got back was a pace setter. I must have stared at my screen for a bit. I definitely tried to tamper with my answers. I think Toastmasters International has dealt with this before, so it had disabled that option. And there I was, stuck being a pace setter. Now you may ask, why was I so bothered by this? Well, these are the traits of a leader who possesses a pace-setting style. They, like their team, to embrace projects and move with speed. They focus on productivity. They motivate by setting high standards and do so by emanating it themselves. They like this type of leadership cannot be sustained for a long period of time. And the team that this type of leadership requires have to be highly motivated and highly skilled. I'm sure nothing sounds off in this, but I really didn't need a system to tell me that I'm bossy. I kind of already knew that. I was just hoping that it would give me a kind of version of myself. But alas, I was stuck being a pace setter. And so I thought, okay, let me just embrace this. And so when I became the president of my club, I decided this was the perfect platform for me to apply this philosophy. And so as the first day of my presidency, I put my foot down and I told my VP Education that this is the way we're going to conduct meetings. I got in touch with my VP PR and told him the posters are not good enough, do better. I told my VPM that we have to make sure we get in touch with all our members and make sure they renew before the deadlines. I was on a roll. I was so elated with my productivity and efficiency, and I thought, yes, I'm doing great, and I can see the future of my club, the success that they're going to attain, and it's going to be soaring so high. But the success I imagined with my no-nonsense approach did not really last a long time. I soon had to bring myself down a couple of notches as my team members revolted against me. Ladies and gentlemen, we are constantly bombarded with stories of leaders on social media and other forums. I mean, we have Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook, we have Elon Musk with Tesla and SpaceX and X and God knows what else. There's the great Steve Jobs. My God, who does not love Steve Jobs? His style of leadership. I mean, I'm sure there are theses written about it. And in India, we have the Ambanis, the Ratan Tatas, the Murtis. These larger-than-life figures are constantly thrown at us. And we're made to analyze them and understand how they managed to create these large organizations. But all that glitters is not gold. We do not know what's happening behind closed doors. We only see what they want us to see. And so, if it was so simple to become them by emulating their styles or by just listening and understanding how they become leaders, then I'm sure all of us would become leaders. It wouldn't be so hard. And that is the reason why this project for me was very important. Because I've always been a one-woman show. I've never preferred working in a team. And so when I had to work in a team, it was one of the most challenging things for me to do. And so with this project, I assumed that I would understand what my leadership style was. And by just emulating that, I would be able to become an effective and a fabulous leader. But once I took on the presidency of my club, I realized there's more that meets the eye than just reading up or listening to what leaders or quizzes have to say. When you're a leader and you have a team, your team has certain strengths and certain weaknesses. And as the leader, it is our duty to ensure that we are able to effectively utilize these strengths and weaknesses and ensure that they are able to perform their 100%. Because a leader is not one that rises alone. A leader is one who rises with his entire team. And so when my team revolted, I decided it's time I took a different approach. And so instead of me demanding what I wanted of them, I decided to ask them, what did you want to achieve from this role? What are your goals? And I tried to guide them as best as I could in achieving that. And if you ask, have I understood what my leadership style is? I would have to say, no, I don't think I have. But I'm no longer in a conundrum because I have realized that the only way I will figure out the type of leader I am is by taking on leadership roles and by learning from my mistakes. As of now, I am trying to be a little more democratic in my approach, but I know I have a long way to go before I can truly say that I am a capable leader. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Malavika, for such a wonderful speech. I could understand when you said that you were kind of bossy, as I realized that sometime before that I was too, and then I threw some empathy into it and it became better. So now moving on to our third speaker, Toastmaster Upasana Ghosh. I would like to know if our evaluator, Toastmaster Joane, is present.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Toastmaster Upasana is a chirpy, happy-go-lucky bookworm who loves to eat, cook, travel, listen to music, and read about Indian mythology. She's been fortunate enough to visit 13 different countries and loves exploring new cultures. Currently, she works as a senior technical writer for an MNC. Today, her speech path is team collaboration, level is level 4, project number elective P1, project name manage project successfully. First speech. Project objective The purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing a plan, building a team, and fulfilling the plan with the help of his or her team. The purpose of the first speech is for the member to give a short overview of the plan for his or her project. The speech duration will be 2 to 3 minutes, and the speech title, Chop Chop, Chop Chop, Toastmaster Upasana, Chop Chop Chop.
My love for travel has taken me places enormously over the globe. Visiting 13 different countries is not a matter of joke. But then how do I plan my work? Right now, I am sitting in a car and traveling to Banaras. But then how about my work? In corporate world, we have a term called sprint, where it is a very short duration of time where your particular task has to be completed. So for us, for documentation team, it is 10 days. Now from 14th of March to 27th March is my sprint time, where I have to complete my documents. And note that it's 5 to 6 different documents where I have to complete, where I have to interact with approximately 20 people to get that document complete. Now, how do I plan it? When I am traveling, it's a 5 days travel plan. So out of 10, I have only 5 days. Out of that, 1 day is holy. It leaves me another 1 day off. That means only 4 days I have time to complete my documentation. Now comes the plan. Since I knew that I will be traveling, I have already completed half of my work. The rest, I have let know my manager that since I'll be traveling, these are the tasks I'll be completing for this complete sprint. And these are the tasks that I'll complete in the next. Even though we had some tiff between us, but I anyhow managed to convince my boss. And for this, in 4 days, that is 14th and 15th, I worked. Again, when I'll go to office, I will be working on 26th and 27th, which leaves me with 4 days. And 4 days I'll be working like crazy so that I can deliver just one part of my document to the team. Even though the delivery date has been set in the month of May, we have parts by parts to submit. But I have my team, my doc lead, and my fellow writer. So with their help, I will be completing all the documentation work. And through this also, our sprint time will close, our documentation will be on time, the delivery, even it will go to our clients. If I go with this plan, my work should complete. But then, who knows what comes next? As for this, I'm sure that no matter what happens, my documentation will be submitted on time. Because this is not the first time I am traveling amidst of a very crucial delivery date. There are many more travel plans to go, and my work is never ending. This will go hand in hand, but the plan has to be there. Back to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Upasana. It was really awe-inspiring to see your time management skills and on such a tight schedule. Now, I would like to ask the timer if there are any disqualification.
No disqualifications.
So now let's move on to our second section, the debate section. For debate section, I would like to call upon our debate chair, Toastmaster Sandeep.
Am I audible?
Perfectly audible, Toastmaster.
All right, thank you very much. And I'm very happy to see a very substantial attendance today. I'm sure The debate has invoked a lot of excitement in our team members, and I am very happy and honored to host the first ever debate contest at the Gabbys online club. As you know, we are not, Gabbys is a family of 3 clubs. And as a family, we are not new to the concept of debate contest. We ran one debate contest at the Gabbys about a year ago. Nevertheless, for the Gabbys online club, this is a very first contest and happening after a very, very long time. What I'll explain first how a contest is run in a Toastmaster setup. We will then discuss the timings. I'll also share a few notes about how the judging and the judging of on the scoring of the contest is going to be done. But we will not spend a lot of time in explaining each and every rule because all the contestants and the chairs and the judges have already been briefed about all the minute details about all the rules and regulations of the contest. So at a very high level, let me just explain how the contest at the Gabbys online will be run. First, for any contest, we need a topic, a motion that's on table, right? There is a statement. The motion for today is social media has improved our relationships. Now, with that as a topic, we have 2 teams. One team who will talk in favor of or for this motion, and the other team that will speak against this motion. There are 3 stages that the contest goes through or the debate goes through. The first, one of the team members will come and present the opening argument or the pitch, the primary pitch for or against whatever motion that is on the table. Once both the teams have provided their primary arguments, then each team will get opportunity for a rebuttal. After the rebuttal, there will be cross-examination, which means team 1 can cross-examine, ask questions, ask data points to team 2, and vice versa. And at end of the cross-examination, the captain of each team will come and make their closing remarks. Once we conclude the proceedings of this debate with the closing remarks of both the captains, then the judges will go into the breakout room to tally the score, and we will continue with the proceeding of rest of the meeting. The criteria for judging has already been shared with contestants as well as judges. So I'll not go into detail of that, but at the high level, there are 6 criteria based on which we will judge the participants. 1 is the clarity of their arguments. 2 is the persuasiveness. 3, the rebuttal skills. 4, the cross-examination skills. The 5th is the use of evidence and examples that they use during their arguments. And finally, the delivery style. So these are the criteria against which all our contestants will be judged. We will identify, of course, the winning team because it's a debate, but we will also identify the best debate speaker amongst the 6 participants that we have. So with that, let me introduce what our teams look like. We have 2 teams today. Team 1, I will refer to them as a for team because they are going to speak in favor of the motion or favor of the topic. The for team comprises of Toastmaster Aparna Raja, who is the captain of the team. The other 2 members of this team are Toastmaster Dhwani Adesra and Toastmaster Gauri Agarwal. The second team, which is the team that is going to speak against the motion, comprises of Toastmaster Chitrakshi, who's the captain of the team, Toastmaster Dr. Neena Vich, and Toastmaster Sanjay Jain. during the course of the debate, all 7 of us, in addition to the timer, will be spotlighted so that all the contestants can see each other. And of course, all the audience can see the contestants. In fact, I would probably request the Zoom master to remove my spotlight. I can just speak in the background. All right, I think I have covered most of the points. As I said, I will not be going into the details of each and every rule and regulation. Those have already been shared with contestants. The topic for today is the social media. I'm sorry. Social media has improved our relationships. And personally for me, I'm very bad with social media. I don't have a Twitter account. I started using Insta 5 months ago. My Facebook account is with my wife, and she once in a while logs in and updates on my behalf. And LinkedIn, I only updated whenever I change my job, which probably means 5 or 6 times in last 20 years. So I'm looking forward to this debate. I'm looking forward for the teams to make some persuasive arguments and convince me either way about whether social media is good for the relationships or not. With that, let's start the debate. The first person to speak on behalf of the 4 team is Toastmaster Gauri Agarwal. Toastmaster Gauri Agarwal will make the opening statement in favor of the motion. Over to you, Toastmaster Gauri.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, fellow Toastmasters, and the panelists. Let me take you on a wonderful and a wondrous journey of how social media improves relationships. Well, some of you could be thinking that how is it possible that the same thing that thrives on cat videos and memes also helps to improve relationships? It can, and it does. Come along with me. To begin with, it enhances communications. Now, there are multiple modes and channels of communication: audio, video, text, and Skype, WhatsApp, and other video applications. They help to actually encourage face-to-face interactions, even despite geographical barriers. Now, instant messaging enables quick exchanges, which results in frequent interactions. This helps to deepen connections. People feel that they're deeply involved. Imagine a mother who has finished the daily chores and has sit back on the sofa, thinking about her child who is thousands of miles away from her studying. And that one video call from him or her saying, "Mom, please teach me how to make rajma chawal." She forgets everything and gets so involved, and that moment becomes a personalized moment for her. Imagine a rough day when, I'm sorry, there's a pop-up on my screen. Okay. Imagine a rough day when you get a meme from your loved one, which encapsulates your emotions just perfectly. Doesn't that bring a smile to your face? In a world of emojis and GIF, imagine the importance of a well-timed hug or a heart emoji from that special one. It definitely turns your frown upside down. If that's not happened to you, I encourage you to try it out. It will give you an experience of a different feeling altogether. The next is it helps to improve connectivity. Today on this panel, I am sitting amongst people who are, the panelists are there from Bangalore, Jamshedpur, Jammu. Would it have been possible otherwise, apart from social media? Either I would have had to flown into your city or you would have had to come into mine. It helps. Now, the pressing problem today is in the rut of daily routine. We don't know where to find and meet new people. How do we connect to new people? Social media helps us to do that. It also helps to reconnect with older friendships. Haven't we all connected with our schoolmates after ages on Facebook? imagine connecting to that one person you met randomly on some trip, and while surfing the net, he or she just popped up and you connected. Isn't that an amazing feeling? And isn't that making the world smaller and smaller? It also helps to connect with like-minded people, which takes me to the next point of access to communities and resources. What does this mean? Imagine, it's a saying, we all know, we've heard of this saying, your vibe attracts your tribe. But what if your vibe is all about horse riding or belly dancing? Where do you find that community? Where do you find people who belly dance? Where do you find people who horse ride? It's kind of unusual, but you can find it on social media. Social media is also the same place where you improve your relationships as well as learn how to improve your relationships. What does that mean? So your relationships get improved is what I've been saying all this while. You connect to new people, you pour your heart out. Today, we find it easier to speak to strangers because it's a world of perception and judgment. And we just happen to open up more with strangers. But it also teaches you how to improve your relationship. An introvert today can take up courses, workshops, or just even get information for free on YouTube on how to small talk, how to connect with peers, how to ask your boss for a raise without getting into a conflict. All this is possible only because of social media. Now, social media offers a platform which helps us to seek advice. It helps us to share our stories, experiences, and milestones. It also enables us to get support from the ones who've been there and done that. Mental health is a pressing problem today. But how do we find therapists? We find therapists on social media today. We look through their work, and that's how we find our therapist. So yes, social media does help to improve relationships.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gauri. Those are some really pretty persuasive arguments. I definitely like the point about finding your tribe. That's something I have never tried, but I'm sure I'm going to try doing that. I'm sorry, I have to apologize. I dropped one of my cue cards and I forgot to mention about the timing. Of course, the timer did a fantastic job, but the opening speech is supposed to be maximum 5 minutes with a 30 seconds grace period. The rebuttals will be 3 minutes and cross-examination will be 3 minutes. If the speaker continues speaking beyond the grace period, then timer is just going to mute them. All the contestants, again, have already been made aware of this rule. I'm just sharing this for the benefit of all the audience. Let's move on with our contest. Now, to speak against the motion of the table, I would like to invite Toastmaster Chitrakshi Vich to make her argument. Over to you, Toastmaster Chitrakshi.
Social media glitters. I love social media. But don't forget, all that glitters is not gold. I'm so glad. I am the happiest person on earth when I say this. I'm glad social media came when I was 18 and above. I can't imagine going through my teenage as rebellious as I was, and knowing that my parents had no idea what was happening. They didn't have to worry about the daughter being out of the house after 8. They didn't have to worry about all of that. But they also had to worry about what kind of data is she consuming? Is she talking to a guy on the internet who's not even there? Or does she have a best friend on the net who could not just breach the privacy, but she could take everything away from my daughter with the click of the button? Oh my God, all those insecurities that I've fought all my life to become the strong person I am today would have gone to waste, because that's how stressful and anxious social media makes all of us. So Toastmasters guests and everyone present here, you must know that I love social media, and don't get me wrong, but I'm really glad I know where to stop. 6 months ago, my social media was full of how beautiful life is, how men should be, how this should be, what are the places that I should travel to. 3 months ago, when I had my breakup, it shifted to alpha women don't like weak men. Alpha women need to do this. But when I was sitting alone in my room crying, hoping for a hug, hoping for a handshake, hoping for someone to hold me tight and say, it's going to be fine. There'll be many more people to come. All I got were hugs and heart emojis. And the second I pressed the button to switch it off, I was all alone. I had nobody to wipe my tears off. I called my friend, but the second I disconnected the call, it felt like life was the same. We are connected to people thousands of miles away. But imagine this. My mother and I are connected on the same Wi-Fi, and we still can't sit together for this debate. That's how much social media has torn us apart. We are together, and yet we are not together. My parents, my family is having dinner in the other room, a tradition that has always been special for us, because no matter where we are for our breakfast, lunches, we are always together for dinners. And today, my grandfather and father in the other room having dinner, and I'm here spending my time with all of you, asking you whether you know how tall I am. You don't. You've always complimented me on my skills of how I speak or how I do things, but have you ever told me how tall I am? No. I have 5 filters right here. You have no idea how I really look. Can you see a pimple coming out here? No, you don't. So what has social media done? Has it given me this false sense of security? It has. It has given me this false sense of security and the dopamine when I need it the most. But when I shut it off, my oxytocin, my serotonin, all of those levels drop. And I want to go back on social media because I want that dopamine to make me feel good. Because I don't feel good without it anymore. Not just me, it's everyone. It's addictive. And when it's so addictive, you actually forget to tell people about your favorite things. I remember fighting with my brother. Back then, we used to wrestle. And I'm sure each and every one of you remember how you wrestled with your sibling because WWE was the in thing. And who would you experiment with? People at home. And I would wrestle with my brother all the time. And then we would complain to our parents, crib about it, cry about it, and go on and on and on till our parents had to put their hands on their ears and say, oh, just shut up. Oh, how much I miss those days. Because now, every time we have an argument, we are on a video call, we have an argument, all I have to do is keep the phone down. Argument gone. Did that solve the problem? Absolutely not. But did that stop the argument? Yes. So instead of solving the problem, I'm running away from it. And I've become a really good runner. The issue is it's not burning any calories for me. So, are my relationships really improving? Not just that, I have grown as an individual. In the last 10 years, I have changed. The things I loved back then, the things I loved when I was 24, 25, 26, they've all changed. The way I used to read, the way I used to write, the way I used to look. But today, when I stand in front of people talking about authority, someone brings an old picture and says, is that how you look? Oh my God, this is a tweet you made 10 years ago. Isn't that enough harassment? Isn't that enough bullying? I have grown. Why haven't you? Just because I said something 10 years ago, you can't hold it against me. So my health, my relationship don't seem to have improved. They've only seem to have gone distant. Debate.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chitrakshi. I think that's a pretty convincing argument about how impersonal social media can be. I have been chatting with a lot of new friends that I met whom I have never even met. And you really pointed out some of the perils of those interactions. Now I'm thoroughly confused as to whether social media is good for us or bad for us. So I'm now looking forward to more rebuttals coming from both the teams. May I now request Toastmaster Dhwani Adesara for her rebuttal.
Thank you so much. A great take on social media relationship like what Chitrakshi mentioned. But I want to ask you one thing, Chitrakshi. So are you saying is money bad or is food bad? Okay. So I want to understand that, you yourself are saying that social media is good, but at the same time, you are saying that it's not. So I want to understand clearly what exactly are you implying over here. Okay. I get it that, we do get anxious. There's social media has its own take and it has its own pros and cons, but hey, we are choosing it. If you are approaching people, you are choosing to approach people so that they can send you those emojis that you wanted. You are craving for that attention, and hence you are asking for that attention from the people. So I believe that it's a choice to choose whether how much you want to use social media and to what extent you want to use social media. It's a choice whether you want to choose to use your phone when you're sitting on a table. It's a choice whether you want to sit together with your mom and do this debate, or you want to sit, apart and do this debate. It's a choice. So I believe that we are living in a world that we are growing so fast that, hey, it's an industrial revolution like 5.0. We are living in a world where machines are going to take over, where machines and humans are going to work together, hand in hand. So again, it's a choice whether we want to go ahead. How do we take it? It's upon us. How much far we want to go? It's upon us. So I believe that anything to an extent where it hampers use, of course, it's bad. But we need to understand that what we can do, because social media and humans, we all are intertwined. We are sitting here today and having this debate because of social media. We are sitting here and connecting with people all around the world. It's because of social media. During the COVID times, we have switched to hybrid mode. It's because of social media. So I believe that it's a personal choice whether you want to use it to a certain extent or not. So that's about it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhwani. Everything is about choice, isn't it? But I'm, of course, looking for this team to make my decision one way or either. So I'm still looking for more arguments and more topics to come up from the rest of the team members. So may I now invite Toastmaster Dr. Nina Vij for her rebuttal.
Thank you so much. And it's a delectable and really dopamine releasing kind of a debate on social media. So how do I rebut? I am on social media myself, and we are connected, and we are building relationships. So what is my rebuttal? Are these relationships real? And so when you say that you are communicating, with who are you communicating? And were we never communicating before? I come from a family where we communicated all the time. We used to sit and chat. We never went to sleep. We communicated through cards, through games, through songs, through riddles. When there's no electricity, this was a kind of India was a kind of a pre-industrial and post-industrial kind of a place, and there was no electricity. It would rain and drip, and we would be singing rain songs. We were communicating. We would be shouting from the rooftop. We would be communicating with the entire mahalla. Everybody could hear us. When there was Holi, we would be communicating with them. And now, this Holi, how am I going to throw color at you, Dhwani? I don't know. It's going to be very virtual. So how do we really maintain those relationships and communication that we are building on the screen? It's difficult. It's difficult through social media. Emotional support. When were we deprived of emotional support? At least in India, we have oodles of it, yodels of it, chunks of it. We want to sometimes get out of it. And yes, that is when we turn towards social media. I do not deny it. There are times we are overwhelmed and we look to some alternative. Yes, it is an alternative. So it should only and only remain an alternate that we go to when we find that, okay, mama is busy, husband is busy, bhaiya is busy, children are busy, my friend is busy. And then, how can social media take the place of that one friend with whom you just chat and can never stop talking? You can never block her out. You can never replace that or him. You can never replace those people. And social media has become an occupation all the time. If you're going to look for your tribe there, if you're going to look for your business there, if you're going to look for your emotional support there, if you're going to look for relationships there, you're going to look for friends there, community there, when you're going to post selfies and look for your praise there, awards there, motivation there, inspiration there, then why you are denying the real. It's going to be more real for you. The simulated virtual world, which you think is real, is actually not real. The lights go off, the internet goes off, the connection is loose. Tomorrow, Geo decides to pack his house. Where are we? We are without this very precious connection. And we'll be groping in the dark and saying, okay, where are you, my neighbor? The neighbor might have a better connection, Airtel. And so, how do we survive without this? And the leisure, when do we stand and stare? We are only typing all the time. We don't have that leisure, that beautiful leisure to do nothing anymore. And touching the screens is never the same as touching people. Not with your words, not with your gestures, not with your expressions, but with your full body, your full heart and spirit. Thank you. Yeah, so debate.
Vijay, you are on mute.
My bad. Thank you, Toastmaster Aparna. Very beautifully put the importance of personal connects as compared to the virtual world. But of course, so far we were going through a monologue, and now is your opportunity to directly confront the team members from the opposing with the opposite view. So first, we will give opportunity to second team, that is team that is not in the favor of the motion, to ask any pointed questions to the team that is in favor of the motion. Any one of the team members can ask question to the other team, and any one of the team members can handle the question. Of course, Toastmaster Aparna has agreed to take the lead, but anyone can feel free to unmute yourself and answer it. So over to you, team 2, the against team, to ask any direct questions to your opponents.
Yeah, I will ask. The first question is, social media will not be able to know whether it is a real person or an artificial person. But because now AI has created so many versions of it. If you see the Prime Minister Modi dancing on Garba dance, and we all were thinking that how much well he is doing. But when we came to know that it is a fake thing, so how much impact it is creating, like that for common man like us, anybody can post any video and then make a thing out of it, or blackmail or something. So how you support that in the social media?
Yes,
May I?
please.
So why does it matter whether Modi is doing Garba or whether Modi is doing what? That is the fundamental problem here. We do not choose what we are consuming. We just consume. Like money and food, we don't know where to stop. And then we complain, oh my God, money is the root of all evil. Oh my God, obesity is the biggest pandemic. It is because we don't know where to stop. It is not a question of AI coming in. AI will come in. AI is doing a lot of other things too. AI is helping in operating and taking out tumors. Why are we not talking about that? Why are we talking about a prime minister who's rallying for an election and he's probably put in a video which doesn't really concern any of us here? Yes, you might counter argue and say, oh, it could be you next. Well, when it is me, I will handle it because I know it's not me. And I know who I am. Like our speaker against Chitrakshi rightly said, she was the rebel. She went through the trials and tribulations, and thank God she's not 18. But let me tell you, you are the fine woman you are today because you went through those trials and tribulations. And you come out so well. Chitrakshi, this would have been just another hurdle for you, and you still would have made it, and you know that. So do all of us. It is not a question of what, it is a question of how and how much, more importantly. And this is a point we all completely are missing and throwing in those fallacies here. There were quite a lot of logical fallacies when we had arguments from your end, which you said things like, you know what? I know where to stop, so it's okay. I heard Chitrakshi say that. You know what? How can I know if it's a real person or not? There are ways to find that too. The question is, if you don't know, don't go there, right? So I hope I answer your question, Toastmaster Sanjay. It is not about who, what.
Yeah, Aparna, Toastmaster Aparna, I want to counter it. As you said, how a teenager or a child knows that it's a real. You and I are educated, and we
Why
can
does
make
a child have?
Yeah, you will say
Why
that
does a
child is
child
not
have
required to do
a
the
tab?
social
Sorry.
media. You will say that child is not
Sorry,
required
come
to.
again, Sanjay.
No, I'm saying if how the child, for example, a 7 years or 10 years child knows that it's a real or it's a fake.
The question is, why does your child have a tab? Why does your child have a tab without a parental control? Everything that comes into social media has parental control. The question is, are you aware? Are you keeping an eye on it? I have children, sir. I'm keeping an eye on it.
No, you are keeping it educated. But what about 140? Okay, next.
We probably shouldn't have children then.
Carry on, please.
We-
Carry on.
We are almost at time, but now is the opportunity for the for team to ask their questions to the against team.
Would Vani or Gauri want to go? I can take it up after. Anyone willing to go, or shall I start? Quickly, give me a thumbs up. Okay, then I'll start. Okay. I have a question for Toastmaster Nina. Toastmaster Nina, I loved your argument, but I do have a question for you. You said, when were we deprived of emotional support? What makes you say that? Have you heard of generational trauma? Trauma that continues through generations unchecked. And in fact, our generation is one of the biggest ones, which is handling it, is what reports say. But I'm asking you, tell me, how do you know you had emotional support? What is the basis of this argument?
The fact that when you turn to people, you may come across, make a few mistakes. Yes, a few wrong numbers, but there'll be a lot of right numbers. But on the social media, the statistics tell us, research tells us, data tells us.
Can you tell us the research and data, please, which you're referring to?
Yeah, there is a lot of research regarding, say, Americans are doing more research than the Indians are doing on this. And so there has been, the data that I was referring to is the Americans have, I'm forgetting the site. If I can refer to it, I'll just let you know that
Sure.
the suicide rates of people who are using social media has increased to 50% among the younger people. And the teenage anxiety has also increased by 58%.
Can you please state the data, the source of the data?
Yes, the source of this data is American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
Okay. So countering it here, because most of this data is assumed through something called correlation research, where correlation research is about saying, oh, okay, so many children in a classroom in this particular age have depression. Are they using social media? They would probably be using. There has never been proven proof, even in your studies, if you go through, it's a correlation research, the American standard thing that you're referring to, there is no correlation saying it is because of depression that they use social media, or because of social media they have depression. No connection. The actual research that can happen would have to be over a period of time, 13 to 27 years of age. There is another research by the University of Oxford. I will share the link where it says no link has been found between this. They did that. Okay, Dhwani, take it on.
Yeah, I wanted to add one more thing, that I wanted to also ask that, is it social media causing kids to feel more depressed, or is it really depressed kids who are likely to use social media? The question is that.
So that is correlation, which is not proven.
Exactly.
Which is not proven by anyone yet.
And it's not because of social media people are committing suicide. It's because how far they are going to research on social media and understanding about all these things.
Yeah, social media has...
Toastmaster Dhani, how you will prevent? See, you are saying it is not correlation or it's not like that. But how you will prove that it is not, means link, no link is connected? When a research
Yes,
agency...
we have to prove there is a link. Only then we have to prove there is no link. No, why will I prove there is no link?
It's not,
You have to
it's not
first
easy
prove
to.
their belief.
Nothing can be proved directly. Everything has to be some reason for
Exactly.
getting.
There is no reason here. That is a
So
core
Yeah,
point.
there is a reason. Sorry,
Joane, come
American
on quickly.
insider.
We make social media one-stop shop for everything. That is the reason.
No,
These are
it is
baseless.
social
These are
belief.
baseless arguments is what I'm trying to say. We say no one-stop shop.
Like
We say one-stop shop and not, sorry. These are baseless. There really is nothing, no research.
Okay, I guess timer has muted all. This was definitely a very interesting debate. If timing really wasn't a constraint, I would have definitely loved to let it continue for some more time at least. But we have to also give opportunity for our audience to ask a question. So members of the audience, if you have a question, a very, very brief question, keep it, or rather keep your questions brief, concise. And I will also request the participants to give their answers in as brief manner as they can. Timer, please start your timing after the first person has finished asking their question. Please unmute yourself, audience members, and please directly ask the question.
I have a question. I have actually two questions, one for the for team, one for the against team. Can I?
As long as they are both very brief.
Okay. So for the against team, the question is that a lot of the things that you mentioned about social media doing this or doing that, all of this was there with the TV as well. All of this was there even when social media was not there. So people used to commit suicide and everything. You know, I remember people jumping off the building, watching something on TV. So then are we going to also shut down our TV sets?
We have shut down our TV sets.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the world. So you are representing the world view here. So you can break your TV sets. But I'm talking about, are you telling that we should shut down our computers, our TV sets, our mobile phones, so throw away everything because, you know, the world out there is there to harm you?
No, is that you are making it sound like a rhetorical question?
Yeah, I'll ask both the team the question and then you can respond as per this thing. And the question for Aparna is that Aparna mentioned that, you know, child tab, this and that. I totally understand. What about people in their 80s, 90s? They do have access and I don't have a control over that. My mom has access to Facebook and she doesn't know how to use Facebook. Parental control does not work here. Parental damage happens there. And she ends up sharing things that she's not supposed to share, including OTPs and all. So what about that?
So last week, I had an 80-year-old who was walking down the street and her chain was snatched, right? Do I ask 80-year-olds not to walk down the street or wear gold necklaces? That's not going to happen. This is similar to that. Awareness. Awareness. There are huge programs our governments are running left, right, center on the radios, on the TVs. It's blasted everywhere. The awareness is what is important. You can help. I can help. Let them help. Let them figure it out. Everything has a price to pay, but with awareness. And that is what is happening. The problem is when the awareness is not happening, but it is happening. Similar to these effects, you know, everything has a side effect. That doesn't mean we stop the progress. That is regressive. We stop the side effects of the progress so that the progress can happen completely. And that is what social media is all about bringing about that sense of community, about interaction when you cannot communicate. I've never even met half the people in this room in person, but thanks to Gabbys, I'm able to see Chitrakshi, Meena ma'am, so many people here. And are you saying I shouldn't be coming on Zoom? Well, whether I miss dinner or not is a choice. I could have said no to this debate and gone on to have that dinner. Well, that was my choice. All I'm saying, it's a choice. It is a choice with a lot of awareness. It can take us to great heights. With great, what is that? With the power comes great responsibility. That is exactly where we are right now. I hope I answered your question.
And it is very, very responsible to understand totally that emotional support is so important. And can we have emotional support just by, you know, words on the social media, which is showing us a face which is prettier than ours, better than ours. It shows me and my boyfriend today and me, my boyfriend and my best friend the next day. It shows, you know, in real time, like Kaur was asking, yes, suicides happen. You knew that that man is going somewhere. But now you can just see it instantly. If you just happen to, you know, have a fake account, you just know it. So obviously the anxiety, depression and tragedy is sort of more.
Toastmaster Nina, I would want to stop you here because then we'll take a lot of time. I want to answer DTM Saurav's question, which was, do we throw the TVs as well? I think DTM Saurav, you've forgotten that the topic is not social media, but it is how social media has impacted our relations. So I'm not against social media at all. In fact, I started my debate by saying I love social media. However, because something that Dhwani also mentioned, the choices that we have so many choices in today's day and age that we are not concentrating on building stronger relationships. Instead, we are focusing on changing those relationships when the going gets tough. And that is what is taking away from the improvement or good, healthy, strong relationships. And that's what I have a problem with.
If it is able to take it away so easily, it isn't a healthy relationship.
Social media is not letting me build healthy relationships because the second
social media is not doing anything. It is just sitting there on our tablets, on our phone, on our laptop.
And giving me a lot of choices. So lesser choices,
choice is the villain. Choice is the villain is what you're saying. How is that right?
Lack of awareness on how to make choices and too many mouths giving.
Sandeep, there is someone raising his hand, Firoz Fazal, and then Navneet. I see a couple of.
Hello. Social media, it's not so good because it does not really help develop good relationships. This is a question to the team one.
Sir,
a real relationship. It does not develop that.
Sir, I'm married to a man for 12 years and 6 years of my marriage was online because we worked in different continents. And in all honesty, I have a great marriage. It did help us develop. In fact, there is a good chance that had I been with him, we probably would have killed each other, honestly. But because of the distance, somewhere the hearts grew fonder. We gave time, we spread out and we spoke, and it actually helped us. So it is very one-sided to say that relationships cannot be good over social media. There is a question of circumstances, the context of it, and the psychological aspect of that person using it, right? In what state of mind am I? All of that comes into play. It is never a one-sided argument that way.
Well, that could be an exception, but it's not always true. In majority of the cases, it does not really improve the relationship. You just get to know a person, but the relationship doesn't really become deep and meaningful. So it's a waste of time.
All due respect, sir, all due respect, that's not a proven fact. So I think we should agree to disagree there.
It's not about proving the fact, it's about what we feel.
And with that, we have really run out the clock. We are at 9 p.m. India time, and we still want to finish this meeting on time. So we are stopping this debate at this point. But while the debate or the discussion or the cross-examination between the two teams is over, both the team captains still have an opportunity to take the stage and speak for 2 minutes on their overall conclusive remarks. So may I request this time the against team first, Toastmaster Chitrakshi, who's the team captain, to come and take the stage and give her remarks. You have 2 minutes.
Physical closeness triggers the release of several hormones in our body. And all these hormones are very, very important for us to function in a healthy, happy, less anxious, mentally stable way. And when we are mentally, physically, and emotionally healthy, everything else, change, growth, love, happiness, everything falls into place. With the amount of choices that we have, with the way we are just one phone call away from people and just one button away from killing arguments, are we really truly working on improving relationships, or are we only working on the quantity of the relationships that we can keep together? Would I be happy celebrating a festival online with everyone knowing that, hey, I'm so many miles away? Or would I really want them to give me a hug, put a sweet in my mouth, sweet meats in my mouth, and feed me like crazy? So food, money, choices. Everything that we do, we need to do it in moderation. We need to understand our limit. We need to be aware, yes. But before the gun was handed to us, the gun of social media, did someone give us a manual? Did someone bother to sit with us and tell us what could go wrong? When my parents believed that WhatsApp University, which is what I fondly call it, tells you everything that is true. When my grandfather comes to me and talks about religious things and says, this is true because someone sitting 1,000 miles away says it's true on media because that's what he's seen all his life. When he was on the border and all that radio would say was, this is what the prime minister is doing at the minute. At this particular point, he had to believe it because that was his benchmark of truth and that was his benchmark of reality. So today I cannot tell him that, hey, media is lying because he will not believe me. He's seen worse circumstances. He's seen guns. He's seen bombs. He's seen shellings. And all that kept him alive was a transistor saying his family was safe and happy. So if I tell him with a manual, without a manual, that it's not true, it's not healthy, it's not helping. Because social media is amazing. I love social media. But has it improved my relationships truly? Ask yourself.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chitrakshi. And now I'll like to call Toastmaster Aparna on stage for her closing argument.
Carl Jung very famously said, we criticize in others that which we do not like in ourselves. We criticize that in others which we do not like in ourselves. And that is exactly what we are doing here. The social media's job is not to improve our relationship, but to act as a catalyst that can help you if and when needed. That is all. If I am believing everything social media is saying, how is it different from the churches and the temples of the world which dominated our thought process for thousands of years, where they said, oh, the church is saying this, you listen to it without another word. Oh, this political figure is saying it. Oh, my mother is saying, oh, my father is saying, oh, my uncle is saying, oh, my family is this. I will listen to it without questioning. That was the problem all along, that mindset where we didn't question. And social media is doing just that for you because the problem is you, not social media, not your relationship with social media. It cannot affect your relationship. It can tell you your family is alive. And if you're one bombshell away from probably martyring yourself, you probably can't even see them for one last time. That is a choice you make, and that is the power of social media. You use it adeptly, you use it the right way, you use it when needed. As even Chitrakshi actually agreed and said, it is a good thing and use it to your... Exactly. You use it and you make the choice. So if you're making the wrong choice, tell me, who is to blame? You or social media? I celebrated Diwali sitting in this room because I was COVID positive and I at least got to see my family. I am happy for that. I am thankful for that. I didn't know if I was going to make it out of the second wave. I am thankful. I see my sister every single day who lives thousands of miles away. I am thankful for the good things that here I make, meet good people here, and for all the nice things. Why the bad things? Let's end it on a good note. It can improve if you want to improve your relationship. Choice is yours and yours alone. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, before I close this debate, I would like to request our Zoom master to move all judges to a separate breakout room. Zoom master, please, after you complete that action, just give us a confirmation.
I have opened the breakout room. I request whosoever got the pop-up, please
Yeah,
join.
all the 4 judges who have received one-on-one messages from me on WhatsApp stating that they are judges and their role, please move to the breakout room.
Can we address some questions till that moment, if that would be feasible?
Not related to this debate or a topic. You know, it's a topic that everyone is passionate about. And if we allocate another 30 minutes, I'm sure we can just go on discussing on this topic. But in the spirit of this contest and following the rules, we will end the topic related discussion at this point in time. Is there a way for us to confirm, Maanvi, if all the 4 judges have moved out? I think yes. Yes, I think yes. All right, thank you very much. So I'm sorry once again for not allowing the debate to continue. That's just an example of a proof of how passionately everyone was involved in this topic, not just the participants, but also the audience members. And I would like to once again thank both the teams for the preparation, for the passion, for the enthusiasm, and of course, most importantly, keeping the entire debate very, very civil. While there were a few crosstalks, nothing where I really had to step in and moderate. So thanks a lot. Fantastic job from both the teams. Thank you very much. So with that, I'm closing this debate. We will, when the judges' results come, the GE will announce those results. And with that, I would like to hand it over back to Toastmaster of the day.
Let's give a huge round of applause to all the debaters and our debate chair who has been back after a long gap and decided to restart his journey with the Gabbys. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sandeep, for conducting such a beautiful session. And that was so passionate and heated that even I got lost in the moment. So let's move on to our next section. But before moving on to our general evaluation section, let me share a 1-minute short story with you. The story goes, on a relaxed Sunday morning, people were riding the New York City subway train going to their next destination. The few passengers abroad were either reading the morning newspaper or dozing in their chairs. It was a quiet, almost Solomon ride through the balls of the Big Apple. The train stopped as it reached a station, and a man accompanied by several small children came on board. After a flutter of passengers going on and off the train, the door slowly clamped shut as the train began its move to the next station. In less than a minute, chaos broke out. While the man who had just gotten on board was sitting down in one of the train seats, his kids ran up and down the aisle shouting, screaming, and wrestling with one another on the floor. The silence on board the train disappeared, only to be replaced by children's loud and messy cries. The father made no attempts to intervene. 10 minutes passed, and some of the elderly passengers shifted nervously. Many who were originally dozing were now awake due to the noise of the children, and many turned their eyes towards the direction of the noise and gazed angrily at the man, their minds filled with thoughts of anger and frustration. Why isn't he doing something to keep his kids quiet? What a poorly brought up family. These kids are horrible. This is so annoying. Why can't they get in another carriage? Should I move to another carriage? A common thread that crossed every passenger's mind was this. Surely the father would do something to restore order, a gentle word of correction, a stern command, some expression of paternal authority. Anything. However, nothing took place. Finally, a well-dressed businessman with a bowler hat could not take it any longer. He walked up to the father, grabbing hold of the collars of his jacket, and shouted angrily at him, "Sir, do something about your kids. Put them in order right now." The father looked up slowly at the man and replied, in broken words, "I know I should do something. It's just, we just came back from the hospital and their mother died an hour ago. I just don't know what to do." Now, this story is a food for thought for you guys to analyze what empathy is and what it means in our everyday life. Now, I would like to hand over to our general evaluator for their evaluation report.
Thank you, Toastmasters of the day. Now, first, we will start with the prepared speech evaluations. I would like to start with the evaluation of the third speaker because she need to leave earlier. So our third speaker is Toastmaster Upasana. Toastmaster Upasana's evaluate is Toastmaster Joane, and Toastmaster Joane Joseph, a content writer and a passionate reader, is an introvert who finds joy in conversation. She immerses herself in diverse music genres and languages, while her free evenings are spent treasure hunting in vintage books and stationery stores. Hailing from Mumbai, she cherishes the sunrises and sunsets at Marine Drive. So, Toastmaster Upasana, over to you to deliver your evaluations.
Hi, Toastmaster Joane will deliver it. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah, thank you, General Evaluator. Hi, Upasana. First of all, congratulations for delivering your speech, even though you were traveling. So, you know, hats off to that. That shows a lot of dedication. And as an evaluator, I need to acknowledge the fact you're inspiring people just by saying that I'm traveling and still I'm giving a speech. So thank you and congratulations for that. Now, let me directly get into the speech. Chop, chop, chop. What did I like? Before I start telling you what did I like, I have to tell you one big issue that I had. That was the volume. I think because you were traveling, till the moment you used this, you know, this way to just keep the microphone near your mouth, which was like maybe first 2 minutes. I heard everything clearly. The moment you dropped it and went into hand gestures, I switched from my speaker to a headphone, yet the clarity was not there. Okay. So the biggest issue is if you're delivering my speech and if I as an evaluator or if the audience has to clamor for that volume, then there itself, there's a problem, right? Because I feel I cannot authentically give you a great evaluation because half of the time I was just trying to listen. What is Upasana saying? We have to acknowledge the fact that as speakers, as public speakers, we have to be very careful about the screen, the presence, the volume that we are portraying. Okay. So that's one major issue. Now, I loved the concept of sprint that you spoke about. And I loved that you actually gave us the problem, which was the project objective. If you look at the project objective, it clearly stated information about the team, information about what the speaker intends to achieve, and a well-organized informational speech. So I'm going to evaluate on these three aspects properly. The first, what the member intends to accomplish, perfectly you gave it to it. From the start of the go, I realized that, okay, it's a sprint time. You have your problems, you have your delivery due date, and you're traveling, yet you want to accomplish it and how you're going to accomplish it. You gave it perfectly. And kudos to you for that. Okay, that part, what your intention was, I got it. Information about the team the member has built. I couldn't understand exactly the details of the team. See, because this is a team collaboration project, what I would have loved to know more about is the team collaboration aspect, right? Who were the members? What were your struggles? What were your common objectives? How did they help you to achieve that? Okay, maybe in speech two, you will give the total detail of how that can happen. So I'm expecting that in speech two, you will cover that up. But that information about the team, because this is the basic project, that I felt was missing or not too detailed, which I was expecting. And third, a well-organized informational speech. Honestly, I don't want to evaluate on that point because I feel maybe it was organized, but I couldn't hear you properly. So if I give you an evaluation on that point, it's not fair to you because I didn't hear the speech properly. Overall, I'll tell you, Upasana, I know you're a fantastic speaker, and I want to highlight the fact that even though you're traveling, you gave the speech, and I want to congratulate on that fact. But I wish you could work on the volume aspect, and please also elaborate on the teamwork aspect because that is the project objective. Okay. But otherwise, as usual, you did a fantastic job. Thank you, and back to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joane, for that wonderful evaluations. So the same story applies to me. At the beginning, I didn't hear anything, so I also put my headphones, but it is due to you are traveling, right? Still are you traveling? Yeah, that's the reason. So again, I would like to agree with Toastmaster Joane to emphasize on the team collaboration. So your speech will be much more wonderful if you add the team part as well. And I know that the second part of your project is to emphasize how did you do the project, right? So my one personal suggestion, not for this project, but for your upcoming project, you can share some photos of your project as well. It will make you make that project much more wonderful. You can share your screen and show some photos what you have done. Okay, that's one my personal suggestion for your upcoming project, not for this one. Okay, so thank you, Toastmaster Joane and Toastmaster Upasana. Next up, let's move on to our first speakers, distinguished Toastmaster Sourav's evaluator, Toastmaster Jaspreet Kaur. So Toastmaster Jaspreet, a performance-driven and result-oriented soft skills coach with a vision to empower professionals and unleash their potential. She has extensive experience as a senior English faculty in prestigious Delhi schools and Hindustan Times. She is an IELTS trainer and a POSH expert. Beyond coaching, she is also a writer and a translator with France features, which involves crafting comic stories and impart ethics and values to young minds. So Toastmaster Jaspreet, over to you.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my target speaker, DTM Sourav. Before I had to evaluate, I was in a dilemma, icebreaker speech and a double DTM. What am I going to do? But the moment you started your speech, you made my job so very easier because it was such a beautiful thing, an icebreaker within an icebreaker. Today, in 2024, you took us 4 years back in September 2020, where you delivered your first icebreaker. You told about your food, your school, the dating thing and everything. And nobody was interested. It was so relatable for all the freshers. Now, yes, I've made certain notes about the speech. So they are, first of all, the way you were mentioning all this, the conviction with which you were speaking, I could actually visualize you and your expressions that would have been at that point of time 4 years back, although I was not there to see it. And I guess the new Toastmasters would get a lot to learn from this, what to do and what to avoid. Another thing that was there was, as I heard your journey, I was able to resonate with it so very much. When I joined Toastmaster, rather speechcraft, I felt the same. What are these kids going to teach me? God knows, but no. Everybody has something or the other to contribute. Then came with a bang, something which really hit me till the depth of my heart, and I'm definitely going to use it in some of my sessions, that competition is fed to us with milk. A beautiful and believable way to convey that it is very difficult to accept failures no matter what. We are not willing to accept our drawbacks, but we are not ready to accept failures. You made the speech come to life with many examples that you gave. You connected with the audience, the ones who began their journey with you in the beginning, and the ones who are there with you, the recent Toastmasters. And not to forget another thing, you use the word of the day, which I think till now only you have done, that is tenderness. Not very easy to do in a prepared speech section. Now, the best part is you were developing your message since the beginning of your speech. The key message of humility and tenderness was perfectly in sync with your entire speech. It was a good example for the others who have to deliver their icebreaker speeches. Very beautifully, you twined it up with the core values of Toastmasters. Now, something to make the speech delivery a little bit more convincing, although it was very convincing, which is looking into the camera. Probably you were getting carried away because you were going down memory lane and you were looking sideways, the way we say looking into thin air, probably thinking, and then looking at the tiles because you were wanting immediate reaction to come back. So I guess that happens when we are pouring out something from our heart, from the depth of our heart. Apart from this, it was a great speech. Thank you very much, DTM Sourav, for sharing all that with us. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jaspreet. for that comprehensive evaluation. So, distinguished Toastmaster Sourav, I think you have completed 10 pathways, right? Then this is your 11th icebreaker. I think in Toastmasters, we have only 11 pathways. So kudos to you, Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Sourav. This is, I think, your last icebreaker because we have only 11 pathways. And you have also, as Toastmaster Jaspreet Kaur mentioned, you have used the word of the day, which is very challenging because it's a prepared speech and you have to change your, what you have prepared, you have to change it. So kudos to you, distinguished Toastmaster Sourav. And my personal suggestion for you is to remove your background and use the stage as well, the space around you. So next up, kudos to Toastmaster Jaspreet and distinguished Toastmaster Sourav. And next up, let's move on to the second evaluator of the second speaker, Toastmaster Lakshmi. Toastmaster Lakshmi, as a behavioral and leadership trainer, she found her ikigai through her job with the Akasha Patra Foundation. She facilitates training programs across India that upskills and motivate the frontline workers of her organization. And to upskill herself, her only go-to place is Toastmasters. So Toastmaster Lakshmi, over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. And that was the Akshaya Patra Foundation. Thank you so much for my introduction. Yes. So first of all, let me congratulate the speaker, Toastmaster Malavika, for meeting the purpose of the project. So that is the first thing that I wanted to say. The purpose of the project was to share her aspects about leadership, or in general, something about leadership styles. And Toastmaster Malavika, you did an excellent job with that. The reason I'm telling you you've done an excellent job is because I like the perspective with which you spoke today, which was a little different from the usual speeches that I've heard when it comes under this leadership style project. And I really enjoyed it thoroughly. Your conversational style of talking got us engaged and glued to what you were trying to say, because it didn't feel like we are listening to a speech. It felt like Malavika is talking to us. So that kind of got our attention further. Another thing I must really appreciate you is that pinch of humor, which probably even you didn't realize, or I don't know if you realized, that you had across your speech. One was when you spoke about probably Toastmaster has faced this before and they have, taken off that option. That was very nice. It was so timely and great. And the main part that really got me engaged in your speech was the emotional connect that you were able to get because of your voice modulation and the tenderness that you had in your voice while you were sharing your experiences as the president of your club, right? So that, and again, you were thinking, recollecting, all that we could see with your eye movements. So we knew it was a very genuine speech or a genuine example that you were sharing with us. So kudos to you for a very engaging conversational style of speech delivery. Let's look at some of the areas of improvement. Now, very surprisingly, we humans, probably because of social media, have this thing that we can't keep things beyond the count of 3. So there were 2 places where you gave us examples. One, the qualities of pace setter. The second thing was when you were talking about the international leaders and the national leaders. So your number of examples in both the cases were more than 3. So if you can restrict it to, say, 2 or 3, it would help you in 2 ways. One, for you as a speaker, you would be more confident on number of points that you have to say, because I saw that you were trying to recollect. And the other one, we as an audience, we would be able to engage with you better. Another thing was your transitions. I felt you were jumping from one place to the other. Like, for example, you gave us with what all you learned from the pace setter. Then you started talking about your thing as a president. Then you suddenly gave us the examples, the international leaders. Then again, you went back to your journey as the president. So that was kind of confusing. So if you could just look at the transition. However, overall, I must say, I really enjoyed your conversational style of talking, and you may challenge yourself to add a little more of humor into your speeches. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi, for that comprehensive evaluation. So my comment on Toastmaster Malavika is again to remove your background and use the stage around you. Because as evaluators, we evaluate two things. Number one is content. Number two is delivery. And stage usage is one of the crucial things when it comes to the delivery side. So it's better if you can remove your background and use the space around you with purpose when it comes to your speeches. But all in all, Toastmaster Lakshmi and Toastmaster Malavika, you did a great job. Kudos to you. And that's it for the evaluations of prepared speeches. Next up, I would like to invite the grammarian to deliver the grammarian's report. Toastmaster Raja, over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Just give me 1 minute. I will share the screen.
Sure.
Here's my grammarian report. Today's word of the day, tenderness. And it was used by distinguished Toastmaster Sourav Dutta for 2 times. Toastmaster Priyamvada Sharma, Toastmaster Lakshmi, Toastmaster Jaspreet. Let us give huge round of applause to them for using the word of the day. Congratulations. And the next, the good usage. Humility, sympathy, passionate speeches, emanating your vibe attracts your tribe. Rebellious, with great powers comes great responsibility. A rhetorical device. Hyperbora. What I can learn from this kid. Used by distinguished Toastmaster Sourav Dutta. Did that solve that problem? Chitrakshi Vij. How do I plan? Used by Upasana Ghosh. What knows? Who knows what comes next? Upasana Ghosh. The rule of 3. Used by Sourav Dutta. Push, push, push. Never, never, never. Nina Vij. Chop, chop, chop. It was the title by Upasana Ghosh. And metaphor, analogy, similes. Brush with reality. Sourav Dutta. Distinguished Toastmaster Sourav Dutta. Machines and humans are going to work together. Davani Adisara. Food for thought. Priyamvada Sharma. Rhetorical questions. Who does not love? Malavika. Or this relationship or real? Nina Vij. One and only alternative. Nina Vij. In the world of emojis. Kaur Agarwal. The probe was used by all the glitters are not gold. Malavika and Chitrakshi Vij. Money is the root of all evil. Used by Aparna Raja. And do I have any recommendations? No. It was a great meeting. Thank you so much, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raja, for that complete report. Next up, I would like to invite the listener today, Toastmaster Atul, to deliver the listeners' questions.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I've got a message that there is a time constraint and over time. I have framed 4 questions, but I will be asking only 3. The first question is, the DTM Sourav was doing keynote speech from which year onwards?
2010.
DTM Sourav was doing 2000? I could not hear, sorry.
10.
Yes, thank you. Right, we are right. And second one, Toastmaster Upasana suggested 10 days work to be completed in how many days?
Whole day?
Yes, that's great. That's correct. Who was the last audience who asked question to the debating team.
Feroz Fasil, sir.
That's right. And what how many times the speaker used word tenderness in today's speech as per the report of the grammarian?
I think DTM Sourav used it twice, and totally 4 of us used it.
Total.
5 times it has been used. Thank you very much. Thank you. That
6
that
times.
shows that that 6 times. So that's really great. Sourav, DTM Sourav has used twice, but other speakers have used once. So that's really shows that everyone was really very much on dot listening to the speeches. And over to the general evaluator for continuation.
Thank you, Toastmaster Atul. Next up, I would like to invite our timer, Toastmaster Sudharma, to deliver the timer's report.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I will share my report. Hope you can see my report. Yes, I see. Today, prepared speeches were on time and evaluations also within time. There were no disqualifications. I will share the report in the chat. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sudharma, for that comprehensive report. Next up, I would like to invite Toastmaster Amit, our accountant, to deliver the accountant's report.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So this is the my report where I would like a big shout out to all 3 speakers and evaluator. They haven't used any filler words and filler sound. Other than that, Grammarian is also there in that list. So I will share this in the chat box. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amit. Now let's move on to the general evaluators evaluation. Since the time is, we have passed the time, I would like to finish it as soon as possible. So first up, I would like to thank all the team, especially the VP Education and the team, for posting agenda, links, flyers before the meeting. So kudos to you. And next up, I would like to thank Toastmaster Sourav, our presiding officer, for welcoming the guests at the beginning of the meeting. And next up, my heartfelt gratitude goes to our Toastmaster of the day, who did, on one hand, she chose a very lovely topic, which was empathy. And she connected with the whole entire audience. She asked questions. Why do we need empathy? What is empathy? How empathy has changed our lives. And she also explained the meeting proceedings for the benefit of our guests. And even before every prepared speeches, she also recited the project purpose statement, which was really nice. And at the end of the session, she concluded her session with a nice, compelling story. So our Toastmaster of the day, kudos to you. And next up, let's move on to our prepared speeches. Distinguished Toastmaster Sourav, Toastmaster Malavika, and Toastmaster Upasana. Thank you for your compelling speeches. I really enjoyed the most, and there were some messages for me to take as well. So kudos to you. Next up, let's move on to our debate. First, I would like to thank our debate chair for picking a nice topic which went parallel to the theme of this meeting, which was empathy. Our theme of the debate was how social media affect to our relationships. And and at the end of the session, you also gave the chance for the audience to ask questions, which was real nice. And kudos to you, our debate chair, and especially our debate speakers, for sharing your what do you call, thought-provoking concepts with us. Toastmaster Aparna, Toastmaster Gauri, Toastmaster Chitrakshi, Toastmaster Sanjay, Toastmaster Nina, and Toastmaster Dhwani. So thank you for sharing your wonderful thoughts with us. And I really enjoyed a lot the debate. There were some hot arguments between you. So kudos to every one of you for conducting that wonderful debate. And next up, I would like to thank my panel of evaluators for delivering a nice constructive evaluations as well. And next up, it's my duty. I will definitely end my report as soon as possible. I would like to thank my tag team as well. First of all, Toastmaster Sudharma, the timer, you covered the camera to avoid the disturbance for the speakers, and you delivered a great report as well. And then our counter, you delivered actually constructive feedback, because when a speaker delivered more than 5 hours, you just wrote 5+, which was really constructive, because if you write the actual number of hours he or she has uttered, it would be a destructive feedback. So our counter, kudos to you. Next up, Grammarian. You have prepared a whole presentation for the Grammarian's report. Kudos to you. For improvements, I have only 2 points. Number 1, explain the meaning of the good use of good words speakers have uttered. And the next improvement point is remind the word of the day before every session, so that every speaker is going to use it more and more. And generally, I have only two improvement points. Number 1, this is for the entire meeting. Don't say thank you after the speech, because you are giving your personal experience. You are educating us. So we as an audience should thank you. So please don't say thank you after a speech. You can say over to you. Okay. And then I encourage you to use the word of the day more and more, which is tenderness. But all in all, we enjoyed this session so much. So Toastmaster of the day, I would like to give the control back to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Sadil. So I would like to conclude this meeting and the theme by saying empathy isn't a fixed trait. Think of it as a muscle that can be developed with exercise. Developing your listening skills, paying attention to body language, and increasing emotional intelligence can heighten your ability to empathize with others. Embracing your own vulnerability and exploring new perspective can also help you develop empathy. So I thank you everyone and our debate chair and our general evaluator for this awesome session. And I hand over the stage to our presiding officer, Sourav Dutta. DTM Sourav.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So before I move on to announce the results, we have to conduct the polls first, but I have to announce the results of the debate. And for that, I will be inviting the debate chair. But before I do that, I have a very important task to finish. So please let me do that. There is our special friend. We all know her, which is Dina. And Dina has shared her take on the debate with me. So I promised Dina that I will be putting her on spotlight, and I want to read it out. A wonderful take. Thank you, Toastmaster debate topic. This is for you, Sandeep. My true story is lifelong. About me, I was a small baby in a big house. I was 10 years old. The staff used to give me nasty meal. I used to eat yuck meal, and I would throw the meal on the floors. My front teeth was flute player in the picture long ago. I was unhappy that staff did that to me. I felt bad inside that they abused me. Really, they bullied me a lot. I know people are nice, and they are very nice in Toastmasters. Thank you, Toastmasters. Thank you, Dina, for a very wonderful, heartfelt message. I know you love to speak, so you can now unmute yourself. Thank you. Thank you, Dina. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to mute you now, and we are going to go back to the debate results. And for that, I'm going to invite our debate chair for today, Toastmaster Sandeep Belekar, to announce the results for the debate contest. While he does that, after he does that, I want to also launch the polls. So over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. The judges took more than 10 minutes. I do not envy their role. I do not know what happened in that room and how much more debate they went through before finally coming up with the winners of today's day. But without further ado, I would like to now announce the winners of today's contest. The winning team for today's debate is the Against team. Against team, congratulations to you. And the best debate speaker of the day is the captain of Against team, Toastmaster Chitrakshi, which thanks once again to all the participants for the wonderful debate. And over to you, Presiding Officer.
Okay, thank you so much. And I just took a wonderful picture of the mother-daughter duo. What a fiery debate partners you are. I'm just, trying to understand how are things when you're debating against each other at home. So, what happens then? That's the most interesting part. So give us a sneak peek sometimes, record something and send our way. I'm sure that's going to be fun to watch you debate against each other. Okay, with this, I'm going to launch the polls now, and let me start with the favorite evaluator. I am launching the polls for the favorite evaluator. As we do that, anyone in the meeting who wants to share their feedback about the meeting, please feel free to unmute yourself. I'm not going to call anyone out specifically, but you can choose to unmute yourself and share your feedback, particularly any of the guests. Okay, so if there's no one who's going to do that, then I'm going to share a little bit about my feedback on the. Yes, sir. Yes, Suresh Madhavan, sir. Please.
Yeah, thank you, Sourav. See, I just have two words to describe Gabbys and Gabbys meeting. I've come here several times and I have so many friends here. And the two words which I want to describe, one is trend set. So you guys are the people who set trends. It's not as if that this is the first time a club has done a debate. Many clubs do debates, but you are the trendsetters. And the other word which I want to use is wholesome. This was a wholesome. It is 9:42 in the evening, and I still see a room full of people. And you were able to sustain the interest, and that says a lot about the leadership of the club, the enthusiasm of its members, and the way things are driven forward. I think there is a leaf to be taken out of Gabbys, which up-and-coming clubs or even established clubs, I would say, you can take a leaf out of Gabbys and implement it and try and learn something from it. It's always a delight, and I go away with huge learnings just by coming and sitting here and watching and keeping my mouth shut. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you so much, sir. And we have Firoz, sir, raising his hand. Yes, sir.
Yes, I listened to the meeting today of Gabbys and also in particular the debate. I enjoyed that and also very good debate. Congratulations to Gabbys Club. I am actually from Allahabad, from a club I started last year, 2 years back, called Prayagraj Toastmasters Club. So basically we are a young club, and I think there are some very good things which you all are following, the rules of Toastmasters and all, which we can imbibe in our club. Although we are doing pretty well, although we are only 2 years old, but we were a President Distinguished Club last year. I remember the rule which you all are following is similar to what we used to follow when I was back in Saudi Arabia in Al Khobar, in a club called Oasis Toastmasters Club, where I was a member for 15 years. And we were very particular in following Toastmasters rules and regulations, which I find in India, not all clubs are following that. But slowly, I think the Indian clubs are coming up. So thank you very much. And it was very interesting to watch Gabbys trying to do that and setting a good standard. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Your words mean a lot to us. Thank you for the inspiration. And the polls are on. The most important poll is on the screen right now. If you have not voted, you must vote for this one. Okay, so we are going to the, there's one more person that I wanted to hear from. Where did he go? Okay, I thought he was here. Okay, no. Fine. So, yeah, I wanted to hear from Lakshmi. And also DTM Parth. DTM Parth was our judge. Oh, he just left. Okay, Lakshmi, you would want to share something very quickly, 30 seconds.
It's
Hi.
really nice to it's really nice to meet you, all of you guys, because today's session is very much special for me, and I really heard many. Those three speeches are really very much special, and I really learned so many things from these speeches. And the best part is the debate. I really look forward to it, because participating for a debate is one of a dream for me also. But the problem is I am quite bit shy person, and also quite not much confident. But from these contestants that I have seen, they are really confident about themselves. And when the person when what you call, when the topic was given, I was thinking that what part should I give the vote, because is that that good part, or the whether that relationships are the social media is good or the bad way. When the contestants tell their stories to the audience, first I was when the people tell that social media is good, I just think, oh yeah, it's good, yeah, of course. I also think when the other parts when the other groups telling that it was bad, oh yeah, it could be bad also. Why oh my god, what I should going to do. I was my goosebumps also was there, because there are so much hot fights also, so I really enjoy it. And today's session is really good, and the evaluators have done a great job, and I think they have done a fair judgment also. So as a guest, I really enjoy it, and you have some kind of friendly. You are so much friendly and have so much good bond between you guys. I just felt it, and yeah, so it's really nice to meet you, all of you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi. Thank you for coming, staying for the entire meeting and sharing your experience with us. We absolutely loved it. And trust you me, you're going to get very, very confident as long as you keep speaking. It's very simple. You speak, you get confident. Ask Chitrakshi, ask Aparna, some of our wonderful speakers sitting here, they will tell you the same. Okay, so with this, I'm going to now launch the results. I'm going to announce the results for it for the meeting today. So the debate results have already been announced by the debate chair. This is for the other roles. So the best auxiliary role taker for today is the person who told us, introduced a new word for all of us, which is tenderness. Thank you so much. Our grammarian, congratulations, Toastmaster Raja Balaji, for being the best TAGL team role taker as the grammarian for today. The next is the best evaluator for today, and the best evaluator for today is someone who works for Akshay Patra. Where is she? She's not here, but yeah, you know who I'm talking about. It is Toastmaster Lakshmi Sujatha, our favorite evaluator for today. Congratulations, Toastmaster Lakshmi in absentia. The best role player for today, this was the man who's from Kerala. Okay. Yeah. So that's Toastmasters Sandeep Belekar as a debate chair. Thank you, Sandeep, for conducting this so seamlessly. Absolutely loved the way you were in charge and your diligence. I mean, seriously, I mean, he did a briefing, he did a judges briefing, he prepared an Excel sheet. It was, I so wish that our regular contests are conducted with so much diligence with which we did a club contest today. So thank you, Sandeep. The sanctity of the contest is everything. At the end of the day, that's what matters, right? You win or lose, you at least don't feel that you were, you got shortchanged. Thank you for keeping our trust and getting it done so beautifully. And the most enthusiastic role taker, that's no brainer. We never have a competition for that. I'm going to put this person in spotlight because this person loves to be in spotlight. Okay. So that's Toastmaster Dina McInroy from Canada. Thank you so much, Dina, for joining, for sharing your stories all the time and staying with us through the entire meeting. We love you. We love it when you attend our meeting. Thank you. And with this, I would want to conclude this meeting. But before I do that, we have a very special session tomorrow where we are going to talk about professional speaking. Thank you so much, Dina. Because one of the things that we want to also do is apply the learnings of Toastmasters in the real professional world. So this will be about how to become a professional speaker, how to become a professional keynote speaker. I have been doing that for a decade or so. So I'm going to share some of my learnings tomorrow. So please do join us, the same link, how to become a successful professional speaker. Thank you. And with this, good night or have a good day, depending on whichever part of the world you are. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.